Love spells can be quite a controversial topic. Some will say don't do it at all. Some will say what the hell. So let's have a look at the intricacies of love spells. Okay, so when it comes to love spells, you've got different types of love spells actually. You've got your type where you are trying to attract the ideal partner into your life. So it's not specifically designed to be aimed at one particular person who you're trying to manipulate. All you're trying to do is actually kind of put a beacon up. And you know, a matching beacon will then be attracted to you and you to them. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that type of love spell. In fact, I think it's a great way to actually find your ideal mate, make you more aware of who they are, make them more aware of who you are, instead of just, you know, going through life and dating person after person and hoping that you meet the right person. But there are some love spells that I don't believe should be done. People will do them anyway, and they do usually end up with a bit of a problem. And those are the ones I want to actually discuss mostly. So those are the ones where you are aiming the magic at a particular person, and you are manipulating and forcing them to be attracted to you and to come into your life, and forcing them to love you, which, you know, is quite ridiculous actually. There are a variety of different types of love spells in this category. It could be that you're jealous of somebody else and you break up a relationship to bring that person into your life. That's just wrong. You know, I've been on the fence about this because I do candle workings for a lot of people, and my own thinking is that it's wrong, but other people think that it's not. So it has been a bit difficult for me to try and decide which direction to take those workings in, and I have decided to actually stop doing any type of working where you're actually forcing and manipulating someone into actually loving you. Because I've never felt it's right, and as I say, it comes with its own problems, and those problems are quite logical really. If you are forcing someone to love you, you might be happy for a couple of months because now you've got this person in your life and they're attentive to you and they're bringing you gifts and they're showing you love and affection and everything else. But they don't really love you. You forced them to love you, so, you know, it wasn't of their own accord. It wasn't of their own choosing, so they don't really love you at the end of the day, and at some point you're going to realize that. And the other problem that comes along with it is that energy can build, it can keep building, and what you find is that the person's all nice and lovey-dovey and attentive at the beginning, but then they start to become a bit obsessive. And a lot of people who actually do this kind of work where they're forcing somebody into their life and they're forcing that person to actually love them, after a short while they just don't want the person anymore, because you have this ideology of what a person is like and what a relationship with that person would be like. And it's a bit of a dream, but at some point that dream gets broken. You realize that they're a bit of a pain in the arse actually, they have habits that you just cannot handle, but you force them into your life and they're there and they're going to stay there. There's no way to get rid of them. Well, you can get rid of them, I mean, you can do more magic to go and break the relationship, but you know, why would you want to do that in the first place? Personally, I don't really understand it myself. I understand that there are people who are so enamored by somebody else that they just can't live without them. But then you need to actually start working on yourself and finding happiness by yourself. If you aren't happy within yourself, you're not going to be able to make somebody else happy. So my advice is always, if you are so fixed on forcing somebody to make you happy, then stop and look at yourself. Work on yourself rather than working on somebody else. You can't find happiness outside yourself. You can only find happiness within yourself. And when you found that happiness, all you're doing is sharing that happiness with another person. And that's ideal. That's the way you should be going. That's what you should be doing. But to force somebody to come into your life just to make you happy it's just going to blow up in your face. It really is. Every love spell that is like this, or done for this reason, is going to blow up in your face. And there are various other types of workings that you can do in the same vein. If you have a husband or a wife and you find out that they're cheating on you, then, a lot of people will go and do magic to keep them at home, to break up this relationship that they have with another person, and again, to ignite the fire. There's nothing wrong with igniting the fire in a relationship. A lot of relationships, they do go through that honeymoon period, and then they kind of level off and the fire kind of fizzles out. So, in that case, if there's no cheating or anything like that going on, nothing nefarious, then to do something to try and ignite the fire, nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to do it in order to trap the person back into your life, then, what's the point? If a person's cheating on you, why are they cheating on you? And if they are cheating on you, why are you sticking around? Look, I mean, every situation is different. In some cases, it could have been a temporary mishap. It could have been something temporary that can be repaired. And, there are some relationships that can be repaired from something like that, and they can go on to have a happy life together. I think it is quite rare, because quite often the partner that has been cheated on will constantly go through the relationship, blaming, not forgiving. They may think they're forgiven, but sometimes they just can't. And that causes a rift in the relationship anyway. So if it can be repaired and revived and everything else, then great. But in most cases, if someone is cheating on you, it's because, even if you do repair it, they're most probably going to go cheat on you again, because that's just their nature. And if you can't handle that, if that's not what you want in your life and your relationship, then, move on. Obviously not the right person for you. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. But it's just something you have to consider. If you want to be happy, as I say, you can only find happiness in yourself. You can't find it in another person. So, you've got to do what you need to do to make you happy at the end of the day. But yeah, as far as love spells goes, I would advise, if it's something where you're trying to control and manipulate a person into doing something that doesn't come naturally to them, then just don't do it. It's not worth it at the end of the day. And that person doesn't love you. If they don't love you naturally, they don't love you anyway. So, forcing them to do so is just ridiculous. And so anyway, that's my take on love spells. I think whenever the topic of love spells comes up in forums and groups and such, you get these these people saying, "Oh, how do you do it?" And then all of a sudden this crowd comes in and goes, "What the hell are you doing? Are you crazy?" No. So, it is quite a controversial topic, but there is a proper way to go about it, and there is a wrong way to go about it. If it's general, or it's just trying to bring back what you used to have into a relationship. But if it's a general attraction of a partner who is ideal for you, then, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, as I say, put in sort of a beacon just to attract that person towards you. Because a lot of people, they will go through life and they won't meet that ideal person. Or they may have actually met them and not realized it. So doing a working where you are attracting that ideal partner into your life, it could be somebody from your past that you've met before. It could have been a friend. It could have been someone you dated like 10 years ago that you just didn't really click with then, but all of a sudden, you know, they now come back into your life and you click. We go through life and we meet new people, and we've kind of got blinders on sometimes, especially when we're looking for that ideal mate. We kind of get fixated on a person because we're dating them. But, you know, that ideal mate's walking past every day, but you just don't see them because you're fixated on this one person. So doing some kind of working that will attract them into your life, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anyway, before I start blabbing and going on a bit more, I'm going to leave it here. And if you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments. And I'll, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.